Have you ever wondered what really happens when you're caught driving with a provisional license here in the UK? Now, let's address something very important. Why do so many people end up driving with a provisional license in the first place? Well, it's not always because they want to break the law. It is often because circumstances surrounding learning to drive today. Driving lessons have become incredibly expensive. In some places, instructors charge up to £50 per hour. So if you need 30 lessons to feel confident, that's around £1,500. That is just lessons alone. It doesn't include the cost of tests. And even when you have the money, many driving instructors are fully booked and they don't have enough slots for learners. These delay the progress even further. Then there is this issue of test availability. As of today, the waiting list for practical driving tests can be as long as 6 months. And as of August 2025, over 637,000 people are on the practical test waiting list. That means you might have to book your driving test 6 months in advance just to secure a slot. And even after waiting all that time, there is no guarantee you pass on your first attempt. To add to the fact that many learners have jobs, family responsibility, and other work commitments. So it is easy to see why some people get frustrated and end up risking by driving unsupervised with a provisional license. Well, in this video here, I shared the real life story of a gentleman who was pulled over by the police. When they checked his documents, they discovered that he was driving with a provisional license. That one stop by the police led to many chains of events that many people are still curious about. Since that video went live, over 75,000 people have already watched that video. And even though I broke down what really happened in that particular case, the comment section and my inbox have been flooded with questions. Many people still want clarity. And out of all those questions, 3 keep coming up again and again. Now, in this video, we are going to address those questions one after the other. Now, the first question is driving with a provisional license a criminal offense in the UK? The second question is, can someone legally drive with a provisional license even though they have a valid insurance? And the third question is, can you actually be charged to court for driving with a provisional license here in the UK? These are very important questions, not only because those people who are asking these questions are avoiding to get into trouble, but also because many learners genuinely don't understand the restriction of a provisional license. So it is easy to see why some people get themselves into trouble. But let us break down everything clearly. Before we can answer those questions, let us start with the basics. What is a provisional license? Now, according to the DVLA, a provisional license is a type of driving license that allows a person to drive under certain conditions before they can obtain a full driver license. Now, did you notice the key phrase here? The key phrase here is under certain condition. You see, it is not a free pass to drive anywhere, anytime, and in any way you like. It is a license with a string attached. Now, think of it like a learner permit, or better still, a permission to practice, but under supervision. So what exactly are those conditions that are attached to the provisional license? The first rule is that you must be accompanied by someone who is at least 21 years old. That means if your friend is 20 years and 11 months, no matter how confident or skilled they are behind the wheel, they cannot legally supervise you, because the law doesn't deal in almost, it deals in exact definition. It is the same way you can't say someone is almost old enough to vote or nearly old enough to buy alcohol. So in this case, the boundary is clear. 21-year-old, not a day less. Now, the second condition is that it doesn't stop at age. The person supervising you must also have held their full UK driver license for at least 3 years. So this means that as at the time you're driving, your supervisor license must have been active and valid for 3 years or longer. If it is 2 years and 11 months, you don't qualify. If their license has expired or is suspended, they don't qualify either. The reason behind this is simple. The law wants supervisors not only to be of certain age, but also to have enough real-world driving experience to guide you properly. Now, the third rule is that the learner driver must be properly insured on the vehicle they are driving. This is not optional. Insurance is there to protect both you and other road users. If you are involved in an accident without a valid insurance, the consequences can be severe, both financially and legally. Some people assume that as long as the car itself has insurance, they are covered. But that is not true. You need to make sure that the policy specifically includes you, the learner driver, for that particular car. Otherwise, you are effectively uninsured. And the fourth condition is that the car you are driving must display the L plates, which are the big L clearly on both front and at the back of the car. These plates are not just there for decoration. They are there to signal other road users that you are a learner. So that way, they can give you space, show patience when needed, and anticipate that you might not drive as smoothly as an experienced driver. So if you fail to display the L plate, you are technically driving in breach of your license condition, which can land you in trouble. Now, back to the first question. Is driving with a provisional license a criminal offense? The short and straightforward answer is no, if you follow the rule. Driving with a provisional license in itself is not an offense. After all, the government wouldn't issue you one if it were automatically illegal to use it. However, it becomes an offense the moment you break the rule attached to it. For example, driving without a qualified supervisor, not displaying the L plate, or driving without a valid insurance. All of these turn your action into a criminal offense. And now this brings us to the second big question. Can you legally drive with a provisional license if you are insured? This is where many people get confused. From a technical standpoint, yes, you can drive with a provisional license if you are insured. This is the critical part. You must still follow the supervision rule. Driving with insurance but without a qualified supervisor defeats the entire purpose of a provisional license. Insurance is just one layer of the protection. The supervision requirement is what makes the whole setup safe. Let us use a simple illustration. Imagine you are learning to drive a bike. You've got your helmet on your head. That's like the insurance, right? That is protecting you against if something goes wrong. But your dad is holding the back of the seat, guiding you so that you can remain steady on the bike. Now, imagine you tell your dad, "Don't hold me. I can drive even on the busy road." Now, even though you still have the helmet on your head, which is the insurance, your chances of crashing and hurting yourself and maybe others is very high. This is because your hands are not strong enough yet. That's exactly how it works with provisional driving. The insurance is helpful, yes, but the supervision is what makes it truly safe. Without both, you are not allowed on the road. Now, the third big question is, can you be taken to court for driving with a provisional license? The answer is yes, and it happens more often than you think. Under the Road Traffic Act 1988, if you are caught driving with a provisional license without a supervisor, or if you fail to display the L plate, you are breaking the law. These are considered to be two separate breaches of your license condition. Number one, driving unaccompanied can result into 3 to 6 penalty points and a fine up to £1,000. Number two, not displaying the L plate can also result into 3 to 6 penalty points and a £100 fine. And on top of that, the police will often impound the vehicle right there on the spot. And in many cases, rather than deciding on the exact number of penalties themselves, in some instances, they send the case straight to court. That way, it's up to the court to decide your punishment. There's also the insurance angle. Once you drive without following the conditions of your provisional license, your insurance is effectively invalid. So, if you were to get into an accident, you won't be able to make a claim. You will be treated as though you were not having insurance. Over the past weeks, I've spoken to many people who found themselves in this exact situation. And I discovered that their experiences varies. Some say they got a 6 penalty point and a £250 fine. Others said they were charged to court and walk away with a £650 fine and a 3 penalty point. Yet some say they are charged to court and they receive a 6 penalty point and a £200 fine, and they are restricted to the kind of job they can do. You see, it all depends on the police. Sometimes they may just want to deal with it themselves, and at other times they will just want the court to deal with it, especially if they feel you deserve a 12-point endorsement on your license. Now, beyond the immediate financial and legal consequences, the longer-term impact can be even worse. Having points on your license can make it harder to get affordable insurance. It can also limit the type of job you are eligible for, especially if the role involves driving. Now, the message is simple. It is not worth the risk. I hope you find value in this video. And if you have watched this video up to this time, I want to say thank you. And I just want to mention that all view as expressed in this video is my own personal view and based on my own personal research. If you need more clarity, please, you can do well to consult your solicitor. I'll see you in the next video.